You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
What's up, everyone? Again, my name is Glennon Taylor, and I want to thank you very much again for your patience, and I apologize for those of you who are currently on the previous live stream, but everything seems to be working quite well. I am your host, Glennon Taylor, and we take a look at anything underneath the Predator franchise, from action figures, comic book statues, prop replicas. And on today's live stream will be the Disney and Fox merger, and I just want to talk about it and see what we can get a communication started regarding it. So I deleted the previous live stream mainly because, you know, I don't see the real point in it. So I figured, let's go ahead and try this one more time. What's up, Trashed? Sorry about that, man. So I figured, let's go ahead and just do this one more time. So it sucks that that happened. You gotta love technology, right? So I deleted the last live stream, but we'll see if we can get this ball up and rolling again. So what I was trying to, of course, state, if for those of you who are new to this live stream, I just want to let you know that the Diamond Select Toys statue, which is the 10-inch one that they showcased in the Toy Fair of last year, 2018. Actually, no, I'm sorry, it was February of this year. And this is already now up for pre-order. So you can go either do Entertainment Earth at $44.99. It will come out in September if you want to do Entertainment Earth, or you can do Big Bad Toy Store for the same price, or you can do it for $48.99, and that will come out in August in their warehouse. So that's just a little bit of a tidbit for that particular part of the live stream. Now, there was a few questions being asked, thrown around. Trash, I know you were here, and I appreciate your patience, man, for coming. But what I would want to do is talk about what I was trying to do was the earnings call for Disney. And usually in a stock market, there's going to be investors. There's Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and also, of course, there's going to be, I believe, Bank of America was one of the other investors. So pretty much what it is that once everything is correlated for an earnings call, each quarter, that's 3 months, so you have the first quarter one, which is going to be January, February, March, which we're now ending quarter one. Then you go into quarter two, April, May, June, July, August, September, and then of course winter months are going to be, you know, the October, November, December. That's quarter four. So what I'm going to let you listen to, Trash, I want to get your opinion on this, is based upon what the CEO Robert, is his legal name, Robert Eager, or Bob Eager, everyone calls him Bob, of what he has plans for once this merger happens, and see what we go from there. So let's go ahead and take a look at that earnings call.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Alexia Quadrani with JP Morgan. Your line is now open.
Thank you so much. Just two questions. I guess the first one is somewhat similar to Michael's, but maybe.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Alexia Quadrani with JP Morgan. Your line is now open.
Thank you so much. Just two questions. I guess the first one is somewhat similar to Michael's, but maybe a much more broader perspective. I'm curious if you can sort of talk broadly, because I know you'll give us a lot of specifics in April. Bob, I guess how you balance, you know, your existing business and the direct consumer initiatives, I guess in many facets, how you balance potentially more aggressive investment spending versus maybe providing the shareholders earnings growth that some of your shareholders, you know, will be looking for. And perhaps more specifically along the same topics, thoughts on changing the home video window versus, you know, to potentially boost interest in Disney Plus.
Thanks, Alexia. As I mentioned earlier in my prepared remarks, we have an event on April 11th when we're not only going to demonstrate the app, but we're going to talk in great detail about our strategy, the impact of our current businesses, and the impact on our bottom line. And so we think we'll answer a lot of the questions then. But what we're basically trying to do here is invest in our future. And the investments that we're making in both the technology side and in creating incremental content are all designed so that long term, this business will become an important part of Disney's bottom line and long-term strategy. So I think you have to look at this. It's almost the equivalent of deploying capital to build out our theme parks when we could have deployed the capital in a variety of other directions. This is a bet on the future of this business, and we are deploying our capital basically so that long-term the growth of this company is stronger than it would have been without these investments. In terms of making the decisions about where content goes near term or today versus traditional platforms, first of all, since we are betting on this direct-to-consumer business long term, we obviously have to fuel it with intellectual property. And so we're creating intellectual property incremental to the properties or the product that we're making for our traditional platforms just so that we can launch this product. And then in some cases, we're moving product over that perhaps could have been on traditional platforms. And again, we're doing that because it's a capital allocation in the direction of long-term growth for the company. I won't get into the issues as it relates to the windows, but we're not looking to compress the theatrical window here. There might be an opportunity down the road to adjust the windowing in terms of when we bring product from maybe the home video window into the so-called pay window, but initially we're approaching this under relatively traditional lines from a calendar perspective. And then I think the last thing that I should add, and I think this includes the assets that we're buying from 21st Century Fox, is we have in the Walt Disney Company not only a collection of brands, and we're adding to them with National Geographic and FX and Searchlight, et cetera, and so on, but we have talent, both executive talent, talent relationships, and production capabilities that give us the ability to scale up nicely in terms of our output and not invest that much in overhead or infrastructure to do that. And so we're going to leverage the people and the capabilities of all of our traditional media businesses we're doing today to grow the product with some incremental expense, obviously, to produce the product, but very efficiently, but to grow product for the new platforms.
And I guess just a quick follow-up on that. I believe you licensed the show, I may be wrong, from CBS TV Studios for Disney+. Is the strategy, I guess maybe just your earlier comment where in some exceptions you'll sort of look outside or make incremental expenses, is the strategy just to find the best content? Doesn't have to be always internally sourced?
I think the strategy will be long-term, pretty heavily weighted to internally sourced versus externally sourced. There will be occasion when we would be glad to license from third parties, but because the Fox deal hasn't closed yet, so we can't take advantage of some of their output capabilities, and because we need to launch the service with some volume and it takes time to ramp up, we're buying certain products from the outside opportunistically, and we'll continue to do that. By the way, it's something we've done in our parks for a long time, where we license from George Lucas Star Tours or the Star Wars IP or the Indiana Jones IP or the Avatar IP. We'll continue to look at opportunities that we think we can leverage because there is a potential consumer demand for it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so again, that was an earnings call that happens every quarter. Okay, so these kind of calls could last 45 minutes to an hour in length, probably even longer than that, depending upon the questions being asked. And when you first start out at an earnings call like this, usually it's Bob Eager and the assistant talking what they've done thus far in this quarter versus the previous quarter. It's all logistics. really, if you think about it. And me and Trash, if you're noticing in the chat, we're talking about it, that he believes that they're going to shelf Alien and Predator for probably a long period of time. And they very well might do that based upon what you just heard, you know, Bob Iger talking about Disney Plus. That's his bottom line, as he said. And he wants to be part of the streaming market. Netflix, when they first come out, they put Blockbuster out of business. So now with there being Netflix original content, like when they had licenses with Marvel, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil, also with The Punisher, because Marvel is now, or Disney's bought that kind of camaraderie, they've canceled those shows. So all those shows more than likely will end up on Disney Plus. Alien and Predator, all the past films or content will be on Disney Plus as well. So I don't know. There's just a lot of things that, yeah, Trash says the other Achilles heel is not, it's not family friendly, but I'll get into that too, Trash. So the transcripts that I'm going to read are from a previous quarter than what you just heard, and this goes into the whole Deadpool thing, and I'll read those to you right out loud.
Thank you. Our next question comes.
So Robert Sega's The Walt Disney Company. Good afternoon. We're pleased with the results in quarter 4, which is winter, delivering a strong finish to fiscal 2018. Adjusted for comparability, earnings per share were up 38% for the quarter and 24% for the year. Christine, which was his assistant, will give you details about the performance in a few minutes. And then he goes on to say that the remarks focus on 2 of our biggest priorities in fiscal 2019, which has now already commenced. It's the successful completion and integration of our 20th Century Fox acquisition and the further development of our DT, which is a direct-to-consumer business. That's what that stands for, the DTC, which includes adding new content and subscribers for the ESPN Plus, gaining majority stake in Hulu, which they are already done, and launching our highly anticipated Disney branded service late next year. So probably between fall, if not winter of this year. And then you have, with regard to our acquisition of 21st Century Fox, we just received European Union regulatory approval this week, and another majority milestone in the process, and we're optimistic about securing the necessary approvals from the territories that remain. One of those was Brazil that he went to. He already got approval from Brazil, obviously, because the deal already went through. And with last June, we estimated it could take up to 12 months for the transaction to close. It took a lot sooner than that, but we were increasingly optimistic that it will be meaningfully earlier than that. True. As I have said numerous times, the value of the portfolio of recognized brands and world-class content we're acquiring is impressive, as is the wealth of executive talent at 21st Century Fox, many of whom will hold key positions in the combined company. Nope, that didn't happen either. Upon completion of the acquisition, Peter Rice will be chairman of Walt Disney Television, reporting to me. He'll also serve as co-chair of our media networks group, along with ESPN president Jimmy Patario, Dana Walden, John Landgraf, and Gary Nell, who will also be joining us in leadership roles, reporting to Peter. Additionally, a number of 21st Century Fox studio executives will be joining Alan Horn's team at Disney Studio Entertainment, including Emma Watts, and I'll show you a picture of her here in a minute, at 20th Century Fox. So she did, in fact, go over to Disney as Vice President Chairman of Production. Nancy Edley and Steve Gula at Fox Searchlight, and Elizabeth Gebler at Fox 2000. Well, Fox 2000 is not even there. They shut that down. At last June, we estimated... Last June, we estimated it took up 12 months for the transaction to close. Optimistic, yep. And then we have all of the chairmen, as I mentioned before. Upon completion of the acquisition, Peter Rice will be chairman of the Walt Disney Company. There we go. Given the pending acquisitions of 20th Century Fox, we did not purchase our stock during the 4th quarter. We purchased a total of 34.6 million shares at $3.6 billion for fiscal 2018. Second, as Bob mentioned, we plan to host an Investor Day in April, which will be April 11th, as you heard in the earnings call, during which we will discuss our direct-to-consumer businesses in more detail, as well as to provide additional perspective on our company post the 20th Century Fox acquisition, assuming the transaction will have closed by then, and of course we'll have webcast that event. So there's just a lot of things going, over of what's going to happen with this. What's up, Leo? I don't know, Trash. This says, Trash says, I guarantee they'll water down Deadpool. I don't know. Hey, Wolf. Sorry again for the last live stream. I deleted the previous live stream. This is a brand new acquisition. So, hopefully this computer won't crash. If it crashes again, I'm done with it. I'll throw it out the window. So, what I read to you, the viewer, Leo, I hope that you were able to listen to the earnings call. If not, I'll go back to it probably, but it's about 5 minutes long. So, as Trash heard and Wolf, I'm sorry you missed out on it, but what I want to know your guys' thoughts so far, Trash, based upon what I read to you and what you heard. Everything right now is on Disney Plus, and there's a lot of things that are going on in relation to Disney Plus. I don't know if Disney Plus is a positive thing. There was a vote on, I would have to say, comicbook.com about who's excited and who will sign up for the service Disney Plus later on this year. Out of the 1,600 votes that saw the poll and voted on it, about 56-57% said they will not be signing up for Disney Plus. So, what's up, Victory? Victory says, I think the priority is it. The last of the movies, Disney won't do anything for the franchise. See, I don't know, Victory, because here's the thing. Bob Iger, as the CEO, as the Chief Executive Officer of Disney, I don't know what decisions that he makes. So, and it says they're going to shelf at Disney Plus. Will be all Star Wars and Marvel properties. I guarantee it. Probably. If Disney Plus rolls out, if in fact they can bring back Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage, if they are able to pick that up where they left off, I don't know. But to gain assets only for the sake of having assets for Disney Plus, I don't know why that would even be, a thing. Because I don't even stream, right? I don't have Hulu. I don't have Netflix. I like buying the TV shows on DVD. I can watch them whenever I feel like watching them. I have all volumes of Big Bang Theory. I think I have 1 through 9. I'm missing 10. No, I have 1 through 10, missing 9, and I need to get 11 once 11 is done. But I like buying my shows on DVD. If I feel like watching it, if there's literally nothing else on TV anymore, which there isn't, I don't know of any other TV program that I'd rather watch at this current moment. I probably might get into a few other shows. Like, I want to get into the series Gotham, only because it has really unique characters. You have Solomon Grundy, the Riddler, Joker. Yeah, physical media to me is just way more enjoyable. I pay one price, that's it, $20, I'm done. I don't have to do a monthly service thing. That's the process, that's the transaction is complete. That's my business. I hand you $20, I have all the episodes that I want, and it may not be every month as a streaming service, so you're not constantly getting money from me. That's just the way I look at it. That's how I do my business. It's a one done deal. That's it for me. Like, I want to also get into the TV show Into the Badlands on AMC. That looks really amazing. I really wanted to get into it, but they're already canceling the season or canceling that show. Let's see, the Trash says, I like if your net goes, you're effed if you're streaming. Yeah. I mean, that's just the way that it is for me. I don't do streaming services. I canceled my cable when I left Arizona. What I'm going to show you is a little bit longer, but this is from the John Kepia show, YouTube channel. So I'm only borrowing the content to reflect based on his podcast that he did and what his thoughts are. And I want to know what you guys' thoughts are as well. So let's go ahead and listen to that really quickly.
What is our third topic today?
By the time you read this message, 20th Century Fox and other assets will be under the ownership of the Walt Disney Company. Hard to believe that the day has finally arrived. I want to know what you guys think of this historic day in film history.
Rob, we've been talking about it for a very long time, years now. The Disney-Fox merger, often always having to talk about it in terms of putting in that little asterisk saying, this deal is not done. This deal is not done. There are things they can't do because this deal is not done. Well, Rob, this morning at 12:02 a.m., it became official. Disney now owns Fox. It's done. We no longer have to talk about, guys, it's not going to close this deal for another year. Guys, it's not going to close this deal for another 6 months. Guys, this deal's going to take a few more weeks before it's closed. It's done. It's complete. It's wrapped. It's finished. The I's have been dotted. The T's have been crossed. The Mouse House now owns the Fox. And so, Rob, let me ask you this. Now, there are a lot of different sort of ramifications of this. Particularly, we all know, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, that the main reason this is done by a mile has nothing to do with X-Men, has nothing to do with Fantastic Four, has nothing to do with the MCU. It's all about Disney Plus. It is all about them acquiring assets and stuff to bolster their Disney Plus offerings. But as film fans, as movie fans, obviously you have the direct phone line to Bob Iger. So Bob Iger, Alan Horn, Kevin Feige, they call you and Gilbert on a conference call, and they ask, Rob, okay, it's done. We're good now. We're in the clear. We can now officially actually start looking at doing things. And they ask you, what do we do first? Rob, from a filmmaker's perspective, from a movie fan's perspective, the Disney-Fox deal is done. What now? What happens first?
Well, it's funny you say that because at 12:03 this morning, Bob Iger texted me a link to watch the end title sequence from Endgame when the Silver Surfer Galactus' ship and Galactus is first revealed saying, "I hunger."
Oh, so they heard me. They heard my suggestion. I'm flattered.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome that he sent me that. But look, here's the thing. What I have seen, look, 20th Century Fox has a long history. They sold their backlot, which now is Century City, after they made Cleopatra because it was so damn expensive. Fox, from the very beginning, has been sliced up and cut apart. It has such a rich cinematic legacy. However, I am a futurist. I want to embrace change. It looks to me, based on the presence that Fox now has on Disney websites, that they're going to keep Fox as a vibrant brand. Whether it's Fox 2000, Fox Searchlight, and 20th Century Fox proper, they're going to keep it. It's one of the greatest brands in Hollywood history. I think they're going to continue to make movies because, listen, they've got to feed. They have to feed Disney Plus for the next century.
Yeah.
And in my mind, what Disney has done with brands, what Bob Iger has done, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, they're absorbing these things and they're exploiting them. And whatever you think of Disney's stewardship of Star Wars, you cannot deny what Disney has done with their regular animation, what they have done with Pixar's animation, what they've done with the MCU. I think we're going to continue to get grand entertainments. And frankly, if they're going to make more Die Hard movies, more Predator movies, more Alien movies, hell, more French Connection movies, if we get the kind of stewardship and the kind of grand plan that they perhaps in the long run, all of the naysayers, the people that right now, I'm sorry for all the people that are out of work, but this might be, in a way, a blessing in disguise. We might see these movies. They're going to want to continue to make these things, and God knows we might get a better Alien film, I'm sorry to say, than we've had in the last decade. I'm strangely optimistic now. I didn't know if it would happen.
But the question is, what do they do first? What's going to be the first obvious big thing from a film fan's perspective that Disney now does with their new Fox assets? What should be the first thing that they do that we get to see?
They need to make a movie with the 20th Century Fox logo in front of it. I don't care what that movie is. I think or if Marvel announces Phase 4, it should say Phase 4. The word 4 should morph into the number 4, and a circle should come around the 4, and it should turn blue, and we can all scream. Or they call it Marvel Phase Fantastic Four. I don't know. I think that would be great. But what really has to happen is they show us that Fox Searchlight is going to continue to make Oscar caliber movies. They need to get a movie out under the 20th Century Fox banner in the next 6 months. And I think Fox Searchlight will be first to the gate on this one. I think Kevin Feige is going to make an announcement right after Homecoming comes out, and we all are going to have a really interesting end of the summer, probably burning pagan effigies to what Kevin Feige is going to bring to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Phase Fantastic Four, because that's what I'm going to call it from now on.
Yeah, I still don't think we're going to get Fantastic Four in Phase 4. I don't think we're going to get them in Phase 4, although the latter end of Phase 4 is a possibility because now they can start moving. But one of the interesting things when they were talking the other day, we were talking about a story about Noah Hawley, who the creator of Legion and all that kind of stuff, was writing a Doctor Doom movie. One of the things that he said after his conversation with Kevin Feige is that the thing is, Marvel's got their next 25,000 years planned out. They've got their next whole things already planned out. So he was almost inferring that there's really no room in a Phase 4 for a Doctor Doom film or something like that. So maybe it involves Fantastic Four. Maybe we got to wait a few extra years for Fantastic Four. But I actually do believe, Rob, that Fantastic Four should be the first thing up on their docket. Now, they've already got Black Panther 2 planned and in motion. They already have Doctor Strange 2 planned and in motion. They've already got Black Widow planned and in motion. They've already been talking about Eternals. And I mean, there's 4 or 5 films right there. Then they're probably going to do another Spider-Man. But I believe Fantastic Four is the best thing they need to do before they get into X-Men for a couple of reasons. Number one, X-Men is going to be something they need to take their time with if they are bringing it into the MCU. And my God, what I'd really rather them do is take a part of your idea, which is keep 20th Century Fox running as a brand and just keep the X-Men in 20th Century Fox. Don't bring them into the MCU. But it sounds like they're going to bring them into the MCU, which I don't want them to do, but they're going to do it. So that is something you got to take your time with. You got to lay lots of groundwork for that because that's a huge shift in your universe. Start things off with Fantastic Four. And the second reason you do it is because of this. Fantastic Four, more than any other brand coming over, needs rehabilitating badly. They have tried Fantastic Four a number of times, dropped the ball every single time. This is a franchise that needs rehabilitation. And it is, from a grand world building point of view, it is a much easier film to do right now because you can end Spider-Man Far From Home if you want with a reference to, I'm going over this place downtown. What's it called? The Baxter Building? You could just, and they fit right into the MCU right now without any groundwork being done. You could do that. So I say you do Fantastic Four first.
I've got a prediction.
Uh-oh.
I predict by Christmas of this year, not only is a Fantastic Four film going to be announced, I'm going to tell you who's going to direct it.
Oh. Tim Story.
Brad Bird.
Ooh.
Brad Bird is going to be announced as the director of Fantastic Four for the MCU. You heard it here first, kids. Bob Iger did not tell me that last night in his text.
Is that a little on the nose? Okay, first of all, obviously, Brad Bird.
It's perfection is what it is.
Director of The Incredibles. Everybody always considers The Incredibles the best Fantastic Four movies ever made. So I'll tell you what, man. To quote Princess Bride, and there was joy amongst the people. I mean, I think if they announce Brad Bird, I still don't think it'll be by Christmas they'll make that announcement. But if they did, oh my God!
I'm telling you,
parties everywhere.
It's the greatest thing. Brad Bird, look, if he brings a little Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol and he brings Incredibles to the table, is there ever a director that we all wanted to see make a certain movie? And I'm certainly not the person that first had this idea. I'm just telling you, it's going to, after James Gunn has been brought back into the fold at Marvel, anything can happen. The next obvious thing that everyone's Kevin Feige is just going to drop this announcement for everybody. If it doesn't happen before Christmas, it'll happen right after Christmas. But I guarantee you he's going to announce after Homecoming at some point, they're going to have another one of these press conferences and they're going to be like, guess what? Here's a picture of 9 of our new movies, and they're all lined up, and we're going to hear what they all are. And one of them is going to be Fantastic Four, directed by Brad Bird.
I mean, and to kind of go to your point, you could announce Brad Bird's going to do a Fantastic Four, and it may not come out for 4 or 5 years. I mean, because Brad Bird, we know, likes taking a lot of time. So, I mean, that could fit both my scenario and yours, that, hey, maybe they don't cram it into phase 4, but you could announce it now and give Brad Bird all the time in the world to develop this movie and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you could do both. You could do both. All right. That's a great prediction. I love that prediction. What do you think, guys, for you guys watching at home?
I just want to show that because the reason is there are some things that I agree with, some things I don't agree with. So Robert Burnett, obviously he's an Alien fan. If you've noticed and you were paying close attention, he has a Cool Props Alien H.R. Giger head, an alien head from Big Chap right there beside him. He's a fan. So I do think that he says he's optimistic. I want to know what you guys think. Are you optimistic? Because right now, I am not sure. I'm on the fence. I don't know if I'm optimistic about it. I don't know if I should hate Disney's guts because of the buying out 20th Century Fox. This is, if any of you have looked at my channel thus far, I have 119 videos on just Predator. So wrap your mind around that for a second. 119 videos on just Predator. Normally, depending upon the circumstances, a lot of YouTube channels would not have that many videos or content relating to Predator and Predator only. This is a small niche. And yeah, Wolf says she already hates Disney. But I have plans for next year. This is 2020. As of next year, I'll be 37. It'll be my 30th anniversary for myself. I know I probably said this quite a bit in my past videos, but it'll be 30 years of me collecting Predator. I kid you not, I have screen production used props, blueprints, Funko Pops, art prints. I got a dozen art prints in my closet. I have 32 original comic book pages. You know, my money has already been invested in 20th Century Fox. And I also want to show you really quickly. There was a video that I had planned on doing, and unfortunately, because this deal has already, happened, and I'm really kind of upset about it, because when stuff changes, you have to adjust for the change for what it is. But I downloaded an app called Robinhood. And for those of you who don't know what Robinhood is a stock trading app. And I think it was a fantastic idea. And this is what I was going to do as a video. So if you'll notice here, I just pulled it up, is a thumbnail that I created, and it was going to be based on Robinhood's app. There are 2 forms of stock when it comes to 21st Century Fox. At the time of me taking that screenshot of the stock options, you have Fox A and Fox, I believe it's Fox B, and they were actually pretty high. And then because of that particular stock price, they were at one point $38, $40 per share. They went up as high as $51 per share, which I think is 10%, maybe 20% increase. And it all had to do with Alita Battle Angel. When Alita came out, it was supposedly the competitor to Captain Marvel. Everybody loved Alita Battle Angel. Everyone thought Captain Marvel would see it, because it's now running out in Rotten Tomatoes at 56% audience score. So I'm just going to go skip Captain Marvel and go straight into Avengers Endgame, because I have no investment in the character. It has nothing to do with Brie Larson. It just happens to be where I have no, I don't read Captain Marvel comics. That would be awesome. So Victor says, I would love to see a Predator Homeworld movie. It would be new and fresh, something we haven't seen before. Could reinvent the franchise, but I doubt Disney will do anything. I don't know. I see me going into investing into 20th Century Fox. 20th Century Fox is still a company. It's a news broadcasting company still. So the headline that I was going to take away from all this is, first of all, there was a lot of drama involved, and the headline that we're going to see now is layoffs begin at 20th Century Fox after Disney deal closes. This happened, this article was published in the Hollywood Reporter. This was at March 21st, so this has been, what, 9 days? I not kind of recall who this individual is, but he is no longer with 20th Century Fox. He's been laid off, so he's no longer with the company. Emma Watson was the vice chairman. This is Emma Watson, and she is now part of Disney as the production studio goes. And it's kind of funny because she's standing in front of the doors that I walked into. And what I'm saying about this, because for those of you who don't know, I was invited and I was flown, there we go, to 20th Century Fox by 20th Century Fox to seeing the new Predator film premiere in LA at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood Boulevard. There is, I'll leave a link right up here, actually, for you to watch that. But I was super excited. That, to me, other than my son being born, which was the best day of my life, being flown by 20th Century Fox to seeing a new Predator movie, that was the second best day of my life. Shane Black failed in making a Predator movie that everybody can love. Only someone that loves and listens to what fans want should be trusted in making a Predator movie. There you go, Wolf. I agree with you. And that's the way it should be. A fan of Predator making a movie for the fans. I don't think Shane Black sucks as a person. Of course, I had an opportunity of meeting him. I haven't met him yet, even though he was physically there in LA by the time of me going. But I don't think we're going to see another Predator movie for a long time. Because as City Hunter Wolf had mentioned, or City Hunter Love, sorry, in the previous live stream that you will not be able to see because I deleted it, she made a comment about right now is Alien because of the 40th anniversary. We won't see the 40th. Next year will be the 35th anniversary, I'm pretty sure, of Predator. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I don't know if we're going to see another Predator film for a long time because a movie just came out. So we're going to let the dust settle, so to speak, and let another Predator movie come out once everything else is done. I think Disney will be definitely doing more Marvel than anything else because Marvel's their 100% moneymaker. I have no intentions of seeing Toy Story 4. I'm Toy Storied out. I don't know. It's just at my age, I think, because I'm 36. My birthday will be next week on April the 10th, Wednesday. I'll be 36 years old. There's some things you kind of grow out of where you just choose to no longer be interested in it. I mean, Predator, even as a child, it's not really a child movie based on its gory and vulgarity, which sometimes can be funny. I enjoy the Predator franchise, even as a kid, and it still can be watched as an adult. So that's why there's a nice, good, universal love for that. But again, I did get flown out to 20th Century Fox, and that's me right there. So I was very, very happy to be at 20th Century Fox Studios. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because, and I'll show it real quickly. I'm going to get rid of this. So it says the Fox lot was one asset Rupert Murdoch wouldn't sell to Disney for good reason. So in other words, that the Fox lot itself, and this is what it looks like when you first walk into the gates of 20th Century Fox close up, sound stages, buildings. You see there's the Sound of Music Shirley Temple was there when she was a young child being a film star. So it's part of my memory, and I still have the itinerary for the 21st Century Fox ticket for me to flown out there. So I will keep that as a memory sake and a souvenir. I should have bought another souvenir while I was there. But Victory says, correct, but in this day and age, seems like it's not about the fans. It's what we want, just quick cash grabs. And social justice warrior agenda scripts nowadays seem to be crap. I kind of agree. And it's kind of funny. I was watching our video, Victory, about how Keanu Reeves is, you know, a fantastic actor and guy because he doesn't push his political agenda. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if he even has one. I don't know if he's even into politics per se, but there was one comment that I had grabbed, and I'll show that to you really quickly, from a person or YouTuber named Eric. He says, I'm with Robert Burnham. I'm excited there may be great Alien Predator movies. Disney does not like losing money. See, I don't know. The other headline that I saw, and I think this is it. Yeah, fans are split over the Disney and Fox merger because of everyone wants X-Men, everyone wants Fantastic Four. We as Predator fans, we want more Predator fan movies or Predator movies in general. I don't know what's going to happen with that. So I really hope that we see more Predator assets coming out of Disney, because as Eric, I only took that because out of the comment, they don't like losing money. That's $71 billion. To invest $71 billion and put your eggs all in one basket and hope that it works out, which is a gamble in my opinion from a business perspective, to have it be all 100% on Marvel and not any other assets that you've now obtained, that kind of is very risky. I hope they don't do that just because everybody's on this Marvel binge or trend. Captain Marvel is another aspect that they unfortunately did not foresee, but you have to do great stories, great character development without them developing into the heroes that we know them to be. It's not going to work. So you can't just throw someone or some character out in the limb and say, well, there you go, this is the most powerful being in the face of the planet. It's just, I don't know. I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm going to make out with everything that's going on. And I do think... there was another aspect that I was going to look into. So I think... yeah. So as layoffs arrive, Disney and Fox staff voice frustrations. So the reason I grabbed this one is because it's not just Fox staff members. Because of the layoffs, Disney was frustrated as well, because nobody knew what was going on. There was no language being developed between the executives. When you have a business that's a merger, business analysts predict, first of all, there was 3,000 layoffs when this deal closed. Business analysts are seeing this being between 5,000 to 10,000 layoffs when everything is done at the end of this year, or perhaps even going further into 2020 when there will be more layoffs. So Disney was not sure what was going to happen. 20th Century Fox did not know what was going to happen, because when you buy out or merge a business into one, usually both ends are affected. So you have Disney layoffs and you have 20th Century Fox layoffs. It's not just one side. It's not completely 10,000 jobs are going to be lost on all 100% 20th Century Fox's end. Disney and 20th Century Fox both combined, there will be layoffs on both ends of the spectrum. So I don't know what will happen in regards to those who lost their jobs. I apologize for those who have lost their jobs because of this. As a business standpoint, it makes sense if you already have a role that's already been fulfilled and I can't find a position for you based on your skill sets, I'd have to let you go. It's nothing personal, it's just business. But it's, like I said, it sucks. Hopefully they have their money set aside. And this is why, me personally, the reason I have Robinhood, and I'll also leave a link down in the description below when this live stream is done. If you are interested in investing, I have about $80 worth of investments from General Electric Power. I have a few other REITs, which is it's a real estate investment trusts, and a few shares in that. And one other share, believe it or not, that I have is Funko, the Funko Pops. Funko is on the public Wall Street that you can invest in if you want to. Right now, I bought them at $17 per share. They've raised, or has gained money. They're now at $21 per share. But you can invest in Funko if you want to. And Wolf says, oh, 20th Century Fox and Disney merged are like Wayland Industries and Yutani merging into Wayland Yutani. That's actually a very good way of putting it, Wolf. I didn't even think about that. The only question is, would it benefit, us as fans? Will we actually get the company type of, merger? That's interesting. I wonder if I can do some kind of artwork regarding that. Yeah, Victor, Funko's on fire right now. But see, it's funny, though, that when I invested in Funko, and I don't know if I have a screenshot of it. I'll pull up my app real quickly. Because as it stands right now, the only reason I invested in Funko is because obviously I have, Funko Pops. I have 18 of them. I also have Akaris, I have the Mystery Minis, I have the Pint Size Heroes, and so I already have a lot of investment in Funko. And it only makes sense that if you have products from a company like Starbucks is public, you can buy Starbucks stock and invest that way. And if you are a Starbucks aficionado, you can invest directly into Starbucks. So I'll show you, if I can, really quickly, what that will look like. Yeah, Funko's actually, okay, Funko's now $22. So I'll show you what it looks like really quickly. I don't know if you can see it or not. Come on. Focus. There you go. So Funko is a stock. It's currently in the green at $22 or so per share. And that's the Robinhood app. This is on a 1 month period. So yeah, there you go. $22 per share. So like I said, there will be a link down in the description below once again after this live stream is finished and everything. If you want to, if you are a Funko collector, or if you collect nothing but Funko Pops and you want to invest in Funko, I'll be able to show you how to do that via the link. And not only do you get a free stock as well if you download the app and everything, but I'll also get a free stock as well. So it helps each other out in that kind of regard. But I'm just not sure if I want to invest in Disney. Disney right now, I'll pull it back up, sorry. I think they're sitting at only $110 per share. And that's kind of funny, their dividend yield, and I'll explain that further. A dividend yield means that you as a shareholder of any company stock, every 3 months or every quarter, as I mentioned before, you will get a payout of a dividend because you invested in that company. So right now, Disney is at $111.25 in a share. They're down in 1 month, but they're up currently 32 cents or 29%. So there's that right there. So they're in the green a little bit. $111.25 is their current stock market price. But I haven't bought a single stock of Disney because I'm not sure what they're going to do with Predator. If they don't do anything with Predator, I will not invest my money in Disney. It's as simple as that. I don't see a point in it. So if Disney invests in Predator, does it the right way, unlike with Star Wars for Episode 8, you know, The Last Jedi, nobody really cared about it if you're a Star Wars fan. A lot of people were really excited about Episode 7, when The Force Awakens, because of Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher being and reprising their roles as General Leia and Han Solo. I was on board as soon as I saw the trailer. I thought it was awesome. But I didn't like characters like Kylo Ren, the whiny baby that he is. It just is not my movie. And then when I saw The Last Jedi, when Emperor Snoke died, I'm like, really? You didn't see that coming? It was just, nah. I'm good. So it's just interesting to me. Let's see if there was anything else that I missed out on. Yeah, there was something else I was supposed to do. I think that was about it. I know there was one headline that I was supposed to show and I can't seem to find it. Oh yeah, this one. Oh, where are you? Yeah, so there's this. This is what I was trying to find. Sorry. So Disney confirms that the future of the Alien and Predator franchises are rated. Well, I grabbed this headline a long time ago, but if this is the headline that they're going to say that Disney confirms that this is the future of Alien and Predator and will remain R-rated based on this merger, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. I just hope that as a fan, how 20th Century Fox treated me as such, will they do the same thing if Disney will treat us as fans the same way? I don't know. Will Predator, Coincidence, Scar, Fugitive, and My Boyfriend Are Pretty. Well, speaking of which, Wolf, actually, there's other few tidbits that I want to discuss. I'll let you know too. Remember those two, or the 3 interviews that I did? I went to Huntsville Comic Book and Pop Culture Expo in Huntsville back earlier this month, and I did, the interview with Jim Shooter, and that was pretty awesome. He is the writer or co-writer for Predator vs. Magnus Robot Fighter. And I also did an interview with Sam Del Rosa, who is the inker for Predator 1 and Predator 2 back in 1989. Unfortunately, those 2 videos, because I put some music in it, I think it's about 15 seconds or so worth of music, those were claimed by the owner of the song, and they're making money off of the videos. So I just want to let you guys know that I will be re-uploading those 2 videos. So I will delete them and re-upload them with the same information. It'll be the same exact interview, but the song won't be there. I even took the song out of it and it's still copyright claimed. So I will be redoing those videos with not the song in it. And the other aspect is that I just got into my collection my Hero Cross Scar Predator hybrid metal figure. So that will be reviewed next week. Really super stoked and excited about that. So that'll be my review for next week. I'm just really getting more things that I haven't been able to collect, getting into my collection. Will Predator says YouTube's copyright system is so broken, it hurts. I mean, if they own it, that's fine, but here's the thing, the person that owned the song went ahead and, I'm sorry, my eye's bothering me, they went ahead and monetized my video. They said, yeah, you can use it, but we're gonna take money for it. I'm like, well, how about this? I just will remove the song, which I did. Still making money on it. I'll just delete the video and re-upload it again. Victor says, Predator in the hunting party, the best design, especially the ship, it was more tribal. In City Hunter, you mean the Predator 2? Yeah, I agree. It was way better in Predator 2. And believe it or not, Victory, I'll be doing a review of the film itself. Not this year, but next year. Because next year is the 30th anniversary of Predator 2. I will hopefully get something done for a giveaway. I haven't done a giveaway this year. I will not be doing another giveaway this year. But I'll start doing another giveaway. So I'll probably do one giveaway per year as opposed to doing multiple throughout. So that's just finances. That's another thing I mentioned before too, is that I'm down $200. I had $600 in my bank account. So I spent $400 outside of my previous means. That's correct, Trash. Yeah, it's the 10th anniversary of Predators next year for Predators. As of next year, will be my 30th anniversary of collecting Predator. So on my birthday next year, I'll be doing a video that would be much more catered to both my birthday and my 30th anniversary of my collecting of the franchise. Thanks, Victor. I appreciate that, man. So he says, cool, can't wait, you're the man. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to wrap my mind around the fact that it's been 30 years of collecting this franchise. So Disney, if you're watching, I'm heavily invested in Predator. Do not mess up with Predator. Do not, for us as fans in general, not just me, just for everybody. You know, I've spent a lot of money, a lot of time, and time to me is the most valuable commodity for me at my age, at 36, because I'll be turning 36 next week. I started collecting Predator when I was 7. I haven't stopped, obviously. Will not stop collecting Predator. So just do right by us and you will have my investment in your stock within the time frame allowed. That's just, you know, how I am. So yeah, 30 years collecting Predator. It's hard to imagine how much, because there's 119 videos on my YouTube channel. I like how you like that, Trash. Trash says, we'll skim Mickey Mouse. Yeah, Senator Love, you're back. I'm back. You're back. You missed out on a lot of things, though. So, I just want to let you guys know that for a YouTube channel that has 119 videos on strictly Predator, I don't know of any other YouTube channel that has 119 videos on strictly one thing. And let's see, Wolf Predator says, yeah, Disney, don't mess this up. Just don't F up like Shane Black. Okay, Disney. I'm just saying, don't mess it up at all. As a YouTuber, and I'm going more deeper into this, a lot of YouTubers nowadays, they try to find and grab different niches. So they'll do Funko Pops, they'll do investment, they'll do fashion, they'll do beauty, they'll do makeup, they'll do whatever they can, whatever's trending at the time. And I've probably mentioned this quite a bit before, but I don't do trends. That's not me. I do what I like. I stick to my guns. I know what I want to have happen. I like what I see. I will videotape it. Because of my investment for 30 years, I do believe that I probably have a lot much more better information than most. I've been flown by 20th Century Fox out to LA to see the new movie. I know several people in the industry. So, I wouldn't say they're my best friends, but they're my acquaintances. So Victor asks, do you think Shane gave us his best Predator movie? That is probably the best question I think I've ever gotten, Victory. In my opinion, with the meddling involved, yes. I think Shane gave us the best Predator that he could have given us if he stuck. Because here's the problem with that, Victory. And I'm glad you asked that question in the way that you did ask it. And my motto is, an answer is only important if you ask the right questions. So the question was, again, asked, I'll reiterate it. Do you think Shane gave us the best Predator movie that he can have given us within the confines of he did? When they did the test screening, the Emissary Predators, that was scrapped because nobody liked the idea of friendly predators. So that was done. So they had to rewrite the script. The complete whole third act was done. So now that we got what we got with, you know, the Predator, what it is. So it almost says my heart hurts so bad I close my eyes for a little bit. Honestly, it's better to dominate in your niche. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Center Love is saying now everybody wants it. Now everybody wants the Emissary Predators. We're getting 2 Emissary Predators from NECA, which is a behind-the-scenes, you know, fan. If you are a fan of the Predator and you know what the Emissary Predators are per ADI's behind-the-scenes footage. I know, Wolf. Wolf says, sorry, I'm still upset at both Shane and the test audience and the movie for being what it is. See, this is what it goes back down to when you do a test screening. These are for critics. A critic, to me, is not a fan of the franchise. They're a fan of movies. So when you look at how Shane Black did it, to answer Victor's question, is they tried to give it to its best knowledge for the general audience. It's not going to work for the general audience because the general audience doesn't care. The general audience is a trend setting, what's happening right now, what's cool, what's happening, what's hot kind of mentality. It's not going to work that way. The way that it works is if you have nostalgic, which currently that's also working right now, is nostalgia. Everybody wants Arnold Schwarzenegger in the new film. Don't do that. If Arnold Schwarzenegger is not on, you know, par or is not willing to do the project, still do it for the fans. The fans still want, and there was a poll that it happened on Stan Winston's School of Character Arts and Twitter, what was the best Predator film? 84% said Predator 1, and respectfully so, mainly because it was the original foundation. So when it comes down to the movie, the original script that was written by Jim and John Thomas, and it's in the Empire magazine, and I'll leave a link for that video up here. When they wrote the script, it was not meant to have a sequel. He was supposed to fly in the chopper into the sunrise or sunset. That was at the end of the movie. There was not supposed to be a sequel. Dark Horse Comics came in, and Richard Anderson, the founder of Dark Horse Comics, said, I know what the sequel is. So with Mark Verheiden, Sam De La Rosa as the inker, and Chris Warner as the penciler, went out and fleshed out Predator 1989, the sequel to the Predator film. That's how we got Predator 2. So I'll dive more into that again on my review for the movie, but that's just my opinion of what it should be. Perfect example of this would be Godzilla King of the Monsters. It has Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah, and Godzilla all in one movie. The reason for that is when they bought the rights, I think his name is Michael Dougherty, who's the director of this new film. That works because it's for Godzilla fans. If you don't know who Mothra is, if you don't know who Rodan or King Ghidorah is, don't go see the movie because you're going to be lost. You are not going to, you have to literally go back to the 1970s and watch Monster Zero and Godzilla vs. Mothra to understand who Mothra is. Thresh says, did you see the behind the scenes pics with Ripley and Newton the pods? That was a bullet dodged. Yeah, it was. They would have been clutching at straws doing that. Yeah, it's just different ideas. That's all it is. You know, how can we, for fans, intertwining Alien vs. Predator and Predator into that niche? I'm glad they still did what they did, as opposed to Ripley or Newt, because Newt supposedly died. she drowned in Alien 3. So, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, Wolf Predator Queen, it's all for Godzilla. Did you see the new trailer, Wolf, for Godzilla trailer, the TV spot versus Beauty? King Ghidorah is on top of the mountain, or the volcano. Yeah, trash. It's true. That's exactly what it is. Trash says throwing crap at a wall and seeing what sticks with those endings. That's exactly what they were doing. So, I don't know. You can't do anything about it. You really can't. You can voice your opinion. I have now, and I'm actually glad that for you who are watching this live stream now, you're a fan of my work. I highly suggest click on that subscribe button because I now have 403 subscribers. I'm slowly gaining momentum. It's a progression. It's a growth. That's what I want to do on this channel, is to grow. And if you like this kind of content, I'm going to keep doing it every single time. There is going to be a video every single week. And hopefully if my computer doesn't crash again, there'll be more live streams. Crossing fingers. Serena Loves, you know Shane Black was back against the wall. Yeah. The high ego was off the charts and inappropriate. Yes, I agree. Right. He's a human just like us. See, Serena Love, that's what I understand. Shane Black, he had no other choice based upon there was studio meddling, critic meddling, and he was forced. I believe that he was forced into it because the original script, I feel, probably would have been a lot better based upon other than what we got. That's just my opinion. Trash, Glenn, are you on Instagram? Yes. And if you noticed in the beginning of my intro, I changed my Instagram and Twitter handles. They used to be Kane218. I've now changed my username for both Instagram and Twitter to more reflect on what I post. So for Twitter, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Predator Collect, all one word. And on Instagram, it's Predator_collectibles. And you'll see way more of what I have in my collection, and also the videos that I just uploaded regarding the situation regarding the live stream. But it is what it is. I'd rather have this now uploaded to the YouTube servers than the previous one. Yes, Wolf Predator Crane, you are a follower, and I want to thank you very much for following my Instagram. I used to, when I had content, post daily. But with finances being in effect, I have to go to Oregon. I gotta go. I have so much stuff. One particular Instagram user, I think his handle is Alien and Predator Collections. I could be wrong. He was showing off his, collection in a small little room. And I made a comment that it was claustrophobic because he had so much stuff in a small, compacted area. And he made a comment that he wants to see my collection displayed in one room. And I told him, I said, as far as my collection, thank you, Victor. I appreciate that, man. I mean, think about it. What would you do, let's say, I want to ask your guys' question. And I really want to know your question, too, if you're watching this live stream. Definitely, I want to go ahead and hit that chat. I want to know what your thoughts are. 30 years of a collection. What do you picture in your head when you see a 30-year collection in a man cave? What would that look like to you? Appreciate it, Trash. So, Wolf, Trashed, Victory, Sitting Under Love, when you look at a 30-year span of collection of comic book art pages, comic books, art prints, statues, toys, what would a 30-year collection look like to you guys? Okay, so Trash has bankruptcy. I'm not bankrupt, but I'm definitely not in the black. I'm not in the red. Well, I'm kind of in the red. It's a little bit hard to explain. I have debt, but it's more of a IRS and child support arrearage. Yeah, it's definitely blood, sweat, and tears, man. I know you're kidding, Trish. It's all right. Credit card debt, I think, is the majority of what is financially bombarding a lot of people. I will be getting a credit card very soon, only because, you know, I'd rather have me be able to utilize time to slowly progress financially, and I believe a credit card will help, because what will happen is, if let's say you get a paycheck and you spend the money that you normally would spend via a paycheck, you put it on a credit card, and you pay it every other week, not every other month, every other week. When you get your next paycheck, because you're not touching this paycheck, that paycheck will roll over, and you'll actually add and accumulate more money, because all that money went towards on the credit card. Even though you will pay that off next time, it's different. So every other paycheck you're paying your bills off, but you're using your credit card to do it when it's needed. There is a strategy behind using credit cards wisely. A lot of people don't do that. So when they see something, you gotta have it, regardless of the price. Cinderella says Instagram is good for quality filtered content. People will respond to the quality of your posts. Why don't you use hashtags? I do use hashtags a lot. If you'll notice in my posts, I use hashtag predator for every post. I use hashtag whatever is correlating to the post. But I use a lot of times ats. Like, I'll tag a company. If I add something into my collection, I'll use their tag plus a hashtag for the subject in question. So usually it kind of probably gets filtered or diluted through a bunch of, you know, predator posts. It just says Hot Toys has been my pain in my figure collection. They're expensive, man. Well, Predator says I've been collecting since I was 10 or 11. So I'm a little bit earlier than it. Well, I know I'm not supposed to ask this, but, you know, it's a catch-22. But I'm going to ask, you know, Wolf, how old are you versus me? Because, again, my birthday's next week, so I'll be 36. Next year will be 30 years of me collecting, so I'll celebrate it in a very special way on a video. Well, different things, not only figures. You have lots of diversity, which is something we should all aspire towards. That. Thank you, Senator Love. I appreciate that. You know, when it comes to diversity, that's why I love collecting Predators. There is definitely diversity in Predator, because you have T-shirts, you got video games, comic books, pops, art, statues. There's all kinds of stuff with Predator. And AVP too. Trish says, I always budget and make sure saving my money are kept separate. So, okay, so yeah, you're spending money and you're saving money is kept separately. That's smart. That's actually smart. I used to trash when I was the way it works out is, and I know this is not a financial YouTube channel or live stream, but I'll give it to you this way. As long as your income exceeds your expenses, if your company is a very good company and they treat you and appreciate you for what your skill set is, your high income skill, and you are definitely worth the amount of money that you are valued at the company you're working for. So if, let's say, your expenses are less than what your income is, I usually would split it between me and my ex. So I would get paid $18 to almost $2,000 a month, and that was net. That was after taxes. If you look at it at a business standpoint, even out of business, your revenue is what you take in. Your profit is what is left over after all your expenses are done, right? So you have to look at it that way in a household. If your bills are your expenses, and then what you bring in is your revenue before taxes. So if you make well over $45,000 a year before taxes, or even say $38,000, that's your revenue. Your taxes, your bills, your electric, whatever those expenses, whatever's left over is your profit. you can go have your play money. I was split it 3 ways between me, my ex, because she wasn't working, she was a stay-at-home mom with my son, and even Drake got a portion of it. So there'll be times where every other week, so I get paid 2 weeks, financially be 2.5 weeks, because there's not a full 2 or 4 weeks in a month. Sometimes there was 5 weeks in a month. That's where you get paid 5 times versus twice. But anyway, so if you do that intelligently, my son Drake had more money than me and my ex combined, because obviously he didn't really need it that much. He was a baby. He didn't really play well. So Will Person is 21, turned 22 in August. Okay. Saw the mentality of a 12-year-old. And I'll delve more into that here in a minute. So indeed, I've learned a thing or two from you getting with tagging. I appreciate that. That's why your channel is important. That means a lot, Sunil Love. So I appreciate that you feel that my channel is important. When I first started this channel, my very famous quote from Winston Churchill is, "Never give up on something you can't go a day without thinking about." And I thought about doing this YouTube channel for a quite long time, because I see a bunch of YouTubers, they will quote something or they'll review a toy. NECA is a perfect example, because NECA is very popular with predators, right? So you get an accessory. Per that accessory, they say, "Oh, I don't know what this is. Leave me a comment down to tell me what this is." I'm like, dude, your video is already done. You should have already done all that research before you uploaded the video. My trash says my children is my collection. That's cute. I love my son. I love my son more than anything in this world. And I don't know if you guys know, if you are watching this live stream, I'm a cancer survivor. There was a 90% chance of me not having kids. I am one of the 10% that can still have kids. I still want more kids. I love kids. Love kids. I absolutely love kids. I love my son. Ever since he was born, he giggles, he laughs, he smiles, and it melts your heart. And I'll show you a picture of him when he was born. I don't know if I actually did that or not, but yeah, I love him to death. I usually keep a picture of him on my phone, because everybody's usually curious of what my son looks like. So I have like a before and after bit. There he goes. So that's the day that I brought my son home for the very first time, and I love him to death. Absolutely love and adore him so much. And that's, him falling asleep, or he is asleep. It's just, yeah, he was born with a full flight of hair. Let's see, I'll show you guys what he looks like now. This is actually a little bit younger than that, but that's him on a tree. He's a handsome boy. Girls are gonna be all over him with like right on rice. Cheryl says, "Be right back. I want to make a sandwich." Literally, my income depends on how well I do my job. Commission, yeah. So make sure I do my miss. All right. That's a good question, Victory. I haven't got that before. What's your favorite thing about the Predator? What gravitated you to the love in collecting? I don't know. When I was little, I was watching movies like The Explorers, The Navigator. I stayed up, watched monster movies. Godzilla was one of them. Me and Wolf. I mean, I grew up watching Godzilla. Godzilla is my first love, and I just can't collect everything Godzilla, because there's 65, or is it 66? Either way, I think it's like 66 or 67 years of Godzilla, and I can't collect everything Godzilla. Predator is half that age, and when he takes his helmet off and shows off what he really looks like underneath the bio helmet to Arnold, just the way he looked, I mean, he looked real, and the way that he looked and moved and everything, I love the movie. At first, when you were young, you don't know what certain things mean, and as you grow older, the more you rewatch it, and you're like, oh, that's what he meant when he said that. It's kind of funny how that works out, but you go and rewatch movies and you get a new appreciation for the movies that you watch. And the first time I ever collected, thanks, Victory. The first time I ever collected Predator was my mom was collecting Hot Wheels at the time with my second cousin. And we went to Orlando to a toy convention. It was my very first toy convention. And this was, to me, was way better than Toys R Us at the time, because there was toys all over the square footage of this convention hall. So there was Migos, there was Generation 1 Transformers, there was Masters of the Universe, original He-Man figures, mint in box, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I had, because it was from 1988. Comic book came out in 1989, so I was all up in that time. I was all about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because the movie just came out, right? So when I came across Predator, I didn't know that Predator was even a collectible until I saw Kenner commercials, and then we went to a comic book store because my mom and our friends that we were going with to go collect Hot Wheels, she still got her Hot Wheels in the other room, actually. Wanted to see what other Hot Wheels can be found in comic book stores, because usually you can find the prized gem ones for $1 or $2 at comic book stores. And come to find out, I was scrolling through Superman, Batman's, and stuff like that, and I came across Predator, and my mom bought me all 4 issues of the Predator from 1989. And I read them, and I continued to read them, and I got hooked. What's this? Did you evoke the rule that there's no... No. For trash, usually what came to me, there wasn't really rules about that. I mean, I would stay up late, because I still stay up late. I'm a night owl. I've always been that way since the day I was born. I was born 1:29 a.m. or 1:30 in the morning. I was wide awake. And I still go to bed at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Right now it's going on 8 o'clock my time. I'll be editing my video. So, yeah, I don't know. I've always been that way. So I watch monster movies, Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason Voorhees, or Friday the 13th, Halloween. That's what we did as kids. If you're an 80s kid, and I think Trash can probably fill me on this one. That's what we did, right? I mean, I stayed up, watched all kinds of stuff. And you're like, what did I just watch? You watched Adult Swim as a toddler? Ugh. I don't know about that one. Trash says, I did that too, but my dad rented stuff for me. See, I didn't grab that kind of stuff. When Blockbuster was a thing, I didn't do that. See, now I'm really showing my age, where Blockbuster was a thing. I would watch horror movies, but I rented more of the vampire stuff. Like Bela Lugosi's Dracula, John Carpenter's Vampires, Big Trouble in Little China. I'd watch that. My all-time favorite John Carpenter film, besides Vampires, there was Big Trouble in Little China. I didn't watch The Thing. I thought The Thing was stupid. RoboCop, I loved. And Trash, I think if you remember, I say us a lot. I'm trying to think. There was Revenge of the Nerds. There was boobs in that. That's another thing too. In the 80s, they didn't care. Nobody cared if you saw boobs or not. It was whatever. Victor says, what gravitated me was the tribal primitivism and advanced technology to include the hunting aspect. Plus, I could watch the original movie all day, any day of the week. So classic. I agree, Victory. Yeah, what gravitated me was just because of the context of the film. I knew what was going on. But when you first start watching the film, you think it's about an action flick because it has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. It has to go with, the whole Commando movie where he has to go and save his daughter from, drug dealers or, whatever. But you think it's an action flick, and the more you dive into it, it's more of a sci-fi / horror film. So I don't know. It was just, I didn't know there was collectibles for Predator until I went to the toy convention back in the late 80s, early 90s. Trust says my old man would go to the counter with a video I picked and ask the guy at the counter, is there test? Are you serious? Wow, your dad was all gung-ho about the man masculinity thing. Well, it says, I'm an adult and I don't like anything with boobs or sex. I usually avoid those scenes. I don't know, Wolf. It, like I said, it usually depends on the context, and I stress that a much about. Perfect example would be Underworld Evolution. It's implied. So if it's implied nudity or implied sex, if they're making love, that's different. That I don't have a problem with. If it's a short scene, like, I don't know, they're about to make love because they're in love or they've fallen in love, that I don't really care as much. What's up, Nick? No, that's not random at all. I am kind of enjoying the new site. But it's, I don't know, I'm still kind of using the app because it's easier to post on social media, both on both Instagram, Twitter, and then I move over to Predator Fan app. Trash says the crazy scene in Predator 2 of the penthouse. Yeah, see, I mean, that was a perfect example. Thank you, Trash. That didn't bother me. It was short, sweet, to the point. They get interrupted, and it's unfortunate. I mean, it's LA. It's Los Angeles. It's 1990s, and he was a drug dealer. I mean, I don't know. In that context, like Trash was bringing up, that's a perfect scene where you barely see it. I mean, you can see it, but it's not. That's not the focus of the scene. I always skip that sex scene in Predator 2. So do you skip the scene entirely? All the way up until you see Predator 2 just killing them off one by one? Or you just skip that entire whole segment altogether? That's interesting. I didn't know that. That was only, out of all the Predator movies, that's probably the only hardcore scene in it. Senator Love says, I'm into it. You definitely, Senator Love, are a prize to be won. You're definitely a prize. Trash says, of course. I don't know. It's, like I said, it has to do with context. If you do it the right way, it's suitable for everybody. That's just my thoughts on it. It doesn't bother me as much. I guess because I grew up with movies like that. Nick says, I have a little inside info about that scene. That's something I already know. Oh, if you'd like to share. If you're about to say this is Joel Silver's idea, I wouldn't put it past you. Joel Silver, I mean, he's a kooky guy. Based on the jokes that he likes to put in there. I don't know. So, I think that with everything going on with 20th Century Fox and Disney, I'll have to wait and see what happens. I see. I knew it. No, I did not know that, but that makes a lot of sense. For Joel Silver. That's funny. Jill Silver. Sidney says, honestly, it adds to the gritty nature of the scene. That's true. And see, and that was the scene up about where it comes down to the Jamaicans coming into the penthouse. I was half expecting either be one or two things. Either that, the scene that we got, or B, them doing coke or drugs, and all of a sudden they get bursted into the room while they're doing drugs or having a party. But you have to minimize casualties, right? So usually it depends on who's involved in the casualties, who's going to die first. And end up being the Colombian. And then the Jamaicans die. You're not a Demon City Hunter, love. Well, in that consideration, Trash, she was hiding. And see, that's another thing too. I like how it evolves around Anna from the first film. That's where the context lies. If Anna is a perfect example, she's not cannon fodder. She's more of a casualty victim. She saw what she saw and will continue to see the Predator for what he really is. She keeps saying, El Diablo vino por ellos. The devil came for them. So to say that, because she was Colombian, I'm sure herself, or Spanish. So when Leona sees this, young girl dramatized from seeing what she saw, it'll change you, man. It's a very traumatizing thing. But it also shows that he wouldn't kill her. Very true. She wasn't a threat. She had no weapons. She was vulnerable. A perfect example in that consideration would be how Olivia Munn was supposedly naked, standing in front or kneeling in front of the fugitive Predator. She had no weapons, pretty much in the nude. There was no threat, and fugitive just walked away. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess with her. I'm not gonna bother with her. I got better things to do. I need to get out of here. Opens the elevator doors and walks out. That sucks. Huh, I didn't know that. So Joe Silver, apparently the home that he set modeled on the 4 Mexican design homes he built in LA. He owned one of them after the quake in '94 saves the Enos house from destruction. That's why the style of home was used in the movie. Yeah, so Wolfberg Crane, in that relationship for, again, nudity, whatever, that's usually how I look at it. Again, like I said, I'm going to reiterate the context. You have to show vulnerability. That's how I look at it. It's my opinion. It doesn't bother me as much. Yep. Yeah, he gets just some pumped up kicks in the guards. He's got his armor on. Let's say he's ready to go. Like, I'm not going to be laying down taking this kind of crap. Come on, Nick. I really want to meet El Padilla Carrillo, the actress who played Anna. I'm following her on social media. She posts a lot. Trash says, a lot of people complained about the fugitive was meant to save humanity. Why he killed all those people in Stargazer, but he had been captured and they were going to experiment on him. Thank you. He was held against his will, which is why he killed everybody. Like, no, you captured me. You've already experimented on me by taking my blood. And no, he was going to kill everybody. Anna knew how to play the game and survive. She was a guerrilla fighter. That's true. That's very observation, Cedar Hunter. Yeah, she was a guerrilla. Well, I don't know if she really was a guerrilla soldier. I don't even know if she was even held there against her will either. I guess she was just there. But it was interesting how she grew out of the whole gorilla mindset. If she was in fact a gorilla, so she went from gorilla to being with the men, realizing that they were not going to hurt her. It's either, you know, help us to survive. We're in this together. I like how that changed. So Wolfbro says, also, how did they catch him? Was his legs broken? Not like Fugitive was messing around in the woods. Nobody was injured. If you remember, Boyd Holbrook's character shot him with his gauntlet, which is kind of funny. And I don't blame Predator Technology. Predator Technology is only going to be responsible for that who is wearing the technology at the time. So the gauntlet knew, based upon his Boyd Holbrook's character, to survive, to aim it and hit Fugitive. So Fugitive was down for the count. Because if you remember, when after he hit Fugitive, Fugitive was alive at the time. I don't know how immobile he was, like he couldn't move. I don't know. See, that's another thing too. There was just a lot of questions that were not really answered in that film. No. The Trash Ass Glenn, is there a one-shot Predator comic with Jim Hopper? No. But if you read, I really highly recommend you reading Dark River, and you have to go in order. So you have to read the red book that I talked about in the Sam De La Rosa interview. So I'll bring it back up. So that red comic book, that was again inked by Sam De La Rosa. Get it mainly because that you can read both Predator, Cold War, and Dark River in that order. Dark River explains a little bit much more about Jim Hopper, I guess a little bit, and the men before that. But it's in the comic book. I think pretty much Jim Hopper is mentioned in the comic book. It's a very excellent, good read. And I have one of the pages from Dark River where Dutch's character is pointing a gun at Dutch's brother, Detective Schaefer. He says, "Go ahead, guy. Scratch that itch." It was just funny to me. I had to have that page. So I have that page. If you've already not seen it, it's also on my Instagram page. The demon who make trophies of men. You know what's funny, Victory? I don't know if you know this about her or not. I know she says, Anna says, El Diablo Trofeos de los Hombres. The demon who make trophies of men, but in actuality she says the devil, which is why it's El Diablo Trofeos de los Hombres, El Diablo vino por ellos, which is from Predator 1, Predator 2, and in actuality, if you want to say demon, you say El Demonio Trofeos de los Hombres in Spanish. So the demon who make trophies of men. That part where his eyes open scared me. That was awesome, actually, Wolf. The blood is spilling on him and you're just opening your eyes. Like, yeah, I see you. Like, that was awesome. Thanks, Bucky. Hey, Bucky. I just want to let you know that I will be shipping out your stuff. I apologize, brother. I'll be shipping out your stuff for your giveaway stuff next month. I know I said that back in January, but it's just been a few months because of finances. Scenario Love says, nigger breasts, I don't consider nudity even full frontal. There's frontal different degrees. That's true. Trash says, I have it, man. But in the Aliens vs. Predator panel, the panel art book, there was a panel from a comic featuring Jim Hopper. I have that book too, the panel-to-panel art book. I don't remember that. If you know the name of the comic, because I have all the comic books, except for, was it Dead Space? And Sands of Time? Something like that. I know there's 2 comic books that I'm missing out of my collection, but I have every single Predator, the Alien vs. Predator issue ever published from Dark Horse Comics. Even the big, fat, red hardcover one. I even have 3 of the omnibuses sitting over there, too. So I have to go back and look. No, Wolf, you're not a kid. Wolf Predator says, I don't know, sis. Maybe I'm too much of a kid if I care about that kind of thing in movies. It's not immaturity or maturity. It's just how you were raised, what you were exposed to versus the age that I was exposed to based on the movies. Different time. So, Wolf, when you were 11, I was already, what? I'm 36 or 21, so I was already 15, 16 years old. I was already in high school when you were born. So, it's just different. Different times. Yeah, it's just, most people don't know that. It's one of those linguistics things, Victory, about el diablo, which is devil, el demonio, demon. That's just the only difference. Oh, Torfillos de los hombres is the same thing, how you say it. And then el diablo vino por ellos. That's just usually what that means. That's why I like you, City Hunter. You're a diamond in the rough, as they say. Yes, Trash, that's the two that I'm missing. Death Space and Sandtrap. The DVD exclusives. I don't have those two. And see, that's another thing that sucks. When it comes to the DVD releases, I already had the movies. I just didn't get the exclusives because you hardly ever know where to get the exclusives at. So now I have to get those two comic books into my collection. And they're probably small, right? They're the ash can sizes. I don't have those. What I need to get is the McFarlane light up AVP interlocking statues. I think that was a Best Buy exclusive. I don't have that in my collection. The diorama of the Alien and the Predator mixed. The diorama lights up with the green blood in it. Alright, cool. Wolverine says, yes, she is. Cinderella is awesome. Of course she's awesome. I've never met someone like Cinderella when it comes to how passionate she is about Predator. I thought I literally was the only one. Because when you think about it at my age, when I collect Predator for the last 30 years, it's... you slowly, with the birth of the internet, and this is why I like the internet so much, because you feel as though in your area or the nick of the woods, you're the only one, and you're thinking to yourself, well, this sucks. I'm the only one that I can talk to myself. I'm like looking at the mirror like, hey, what do you think about Predator? I don't know. What do you think about Predator? It's literally, you know, you think people are looking at you like, man, he's crazy. He needs to go to an asylum. And that's why I feel about when I live here in Alabama. I kid you not. Here living in this state, I mean, when I went to the Huntsville Comic Book and Pop Culture Expo 2 weeks ago, you know, I was wearing my Predator jacket, and only about 3 or 4 people loved my jacket. And I have a big, huge Predator, you know, patch on my back of my jacket. Everyone was complimenting on me on it, and I thought that was awesome. Here in this neck of where I am, the only thing they care about is football, church. There's a church on every corner. I'm not kidding. It's like CVS, Walgreens of Christianity. It's that bad. And it's trucks and hunting and fishing. It's literally the redneck capital of the United States, if I ever saw it. I mean, it's the sticks. That's why I got to get out of here. I got to get to Oregon. Yeah, City Analyst says El Cazador. That's funny. Yeah, I need to progress. I need to have my own house so I can display my collection. I want to do a room tour on my channel. That's why, you know, I want to get your feedback. What do you think 30 years of Predator would look like? I got plans, man. Wolfer says, my boyfriend would tell you how crazy and passionate I am when it comes to Alien and Predator. That's cool. I think it's even cool that you even have a boyfriend, because here I am being single for the last 4 years. Not that I'm really complaining about it. At my age, I have my son to focus on, and I'm not really interested. I'm not saying I'm not interested. It's a double negative. I'm just doing me. That's all I'm doing. I go to work, I do my YouTube channel, I wake up, do it all again the next day. Work, YouTube channel, rinse, repeat. I'm telling you, Trash. See, I'm going mad, dude. I just imagined it, or must imagine it, because I can't find it now. I'll be honest with you, Trash. I don't really think there is a Jim Hopper one-off comic book. The only thing that I probably can recall of Jim Hopper ever being mentioned was in Dark River, because it goes back into the 1987 film. Those are the only 3 comic books I can think of that Jim Hopper was ever mentioned again. But yeah, I don't think he was ever mentioned in any other comic book, like Predator Big Game or Predator Kindred. He was only mentioned never. I'm just saying. So I want to know what other questions you guys have about the Disney and Fox merger. Was there anything I left out? Anything else you guys want to know that I could probably clarify on? Oh, there was one other thing, and I forgot to mention this. The 20th Century Fox Disney merger was if there anybody that remained with 20th Century Fox after the merger got stock options. That goes back to the stocks that I was talking about before. So if you had less than a time frame, there was a tier of time. You have either $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000 worth of 20th Century Fox stock as a stock option for whoever was with the company prior to the merger. So if you were with the company between 5 to 10 years, you got $2,000 worth of stock. If you were with the company for 20 years or more, or 10 to 20 years or more, you got $3,000 worth of stock. That was their cap. Anything less than those time frames, you got $1,000 as employees. Honestly, I like to start a YouTube channel, but I never know what to do with myself. Like that video I posted to the Pred app. This goes back to my original aspect of the reason why I started this channel, is because there wasn't a lot of Predator content, and what Predator content there wasn't a lot of reviews. There wasn't a lot of talking about any of the movies, the collectibles, how to see what happens. I started the YouTube channel. I looked around. I didn't see a lot of channels focused on Predator, except for maybe Mr. H reviews. Yeah, he may explain a couple of things. I like Mr. H. I think based out of Europe, he's pretty cool. There was Acid Glow, which I think Acid Glow copies Mr. H, and Mr. H probably already knows that. There's toy reviews like Pixel Dan and a few other review-based channels, but they review more than just Predator. They review whatever's trending. He-Man's of the Universe, Marvel, Legends, Dragon Ball. So you just review toys, but you don't review Predator. Well, Predator says, I want to make videos too talking about all things Alien and Predator, but I have no video editing skills. What I would suggest is go to Best Buy, pick up Power Director 17. That's what I use. I gradually did it through Movie Maker, but Movie Maker you get standard with Microsoft as a operating system if you still have Windows 7. Currently Microsoft has done with Microsoft video editing software. So go to Best Buy. It's about $80. Power Director 17. It already has effects, comment section, titles, overlays, and just play around with it. Nothing's gonna happen. I have to edit a video tonight, actually. I've already shot it. So again, this video right here of the Hero Cross Scar Predator. So that's the video I'm editing tonight before I go to bed. But I won't be going to bed until 6 a.m. because I'm editing the video. Yeah, it's a learning. And that's the thing about my subscriber base, is And again, if you haven't subscribed, I highly recommend it. Only suggesting that is mainly because I do a video and will do a video every single week. That is my consistency. That is my commitment to this channel. But having said that, I grow, I've got new equipment, and that's growth. As long as you're growing as a channel, you will grow your subscriber base as long as you're consistent. Do not let anybody do anything outside of, like for example, I lost 3 subscribers when I posted the Hot Toys video. I may have lost 3, but I gained 5 back. It's an up and down thing. As long as I'm consistent, I know exactly what I want out of this channel. I know exactly what my plans are. I have goals. I'm going to stick with what I know is best for my channel. If people like it, great. If they don't, that's fine too. I've learned the very hard way of the 12 years of doing customer service. You can't please everybody. There's no way. If you can please everybody, then you're God. So someday when I have an idea on how to do video editing, I start reviewing more like Predator 2. I collab with you. That'd be pretty cool. Collaboration. Collaboration is another thing you can do to get ideas out on the table. I want to collab with a few people. See, collaboration is just another way of saying you can do interviews. I did interviews. That's a form of collaboration. It just depends on what your goals are. Like, what do you want to review? And I'm not trying to monopolize on this, like take full control of the Predator collecting niche on YouTube. I'm just doing me. But I'd like to see channels both out of City Hunter Love and Wolf Predator Queen. That'd be interesting, depending upon, you know, what you want to do. Trash, I don't know, dude. That will happen sometimes. With no rhyme or reason. I have no... See, this is what I want, too. I want feedback. And no one provides feedback. I just got a dislike on one of my videos, the Jim Shooter interview video. I just got disliked on that. Someone actually clicked the thumbs down button. I don't know if it's because of what happened to Jim Shooter. I don't know if it's because of how... I did know that I made a mistake on the Hot Toys review video. There was a duplicate clip that had overran. So there was 2 of the same videos, so I would see talking and then I would repeat myself, so I deleted that. The other aspect was the list that pops up and you see where it says add text here. So that was a mistake, because I thought if nothing was entered into there it would just remain blank, but apparently when you add the overlay text or the list, it will remain as where it says add text here. So as I was talking, I would remove add text here, and then it will put in my reasoning for either a pro or a con for the toy. I'm human. You know, to err is to be human, so I make a mistake. But here lately, I've been gaining 38, 80 views on it. I have now 238 views on that Hot Toys video. So I've gained subscribers via that video. Scenario says, I'm just sad because Fox is a huge part of my life. It feels like a piece of me is gone. I understand my life literally revolves around Predator. My life literally revolves around Predator too. At least that's what it feels like. I want it to be more revolved around both my son, my life, and what I do. I enjoy doing this. Trash is just one of those things where, again, if it's piddly stuff, yeah, I made a mistake. Overall, the video itself, from beginning to end, has its purpose. It explains exactly what it is. There's concept art revolving around the piece of the toy. There's the slow motion, like City Hunter Love, like the slow motion rotation of the head for the Hot Toys Wolf, where the silicone dreads do move and shake just like it does in the movie. So there was that. My video editing skills, I will make mistakes. And the reason I made a mistake on the video that I just explained was because I was in a hurry to go to work. It took me 13 hours to edit that video. I shot it on a Saturday and I edited it on Tuesday. I woke up because I went to bed late, around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because I work second shift at my job, so I don't leave my job till 11 p.m. I stayed up all the way until 11 a.m. the next day, still editing the video. When it was done, or else I thought it was done, went ahead and immediately uploaded it to YouTube, as opposed to watching it to make sure everything was in order. So I made a mistake. So when I made the mistakes, as I did, I went ahead and re-edited it on the YouTube server. That way it wouldn't look as bad. So Ronald says, my life pretty much revolves around Alien and Predator, and honestly, I can never see my life without them. For H, girls. Cyril says, to be later frank, as a female in the collecting game, it's sometimes treated as a novelty. It's not cute, it's my life. People are always people who do not understand why I like Pred. Just do you, say Hunter Love. Don't worry about them. Yeah, so Cyril says, oh, I want to see him. I'm wanting to get a Hero Cross. I'm actually happy the fact that I finally got a Hero Cross figure. I can't believe I finally got him, and this is the first one. This was released in 2015. I know I'm kind of late to it, but yeah. Yep, he's there with the magnetic strip. I talk about it more in my review next week. I already got the thumbnail made for it. I've already shot it. I just got to edit it tonight. I'd love to get a lazy Susan Turner like you have for your reviews. I do the old-fashioned camera over to the view figure. It's cheap. You can buy it on Amazon, trash. I think I spent, what, 15, 20 bucks? I have it right here. Hold on. It's about this thing. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, so the batteries are here. So the way this works is because it has a rainbow effect to it. If you put the batteries in, the rainbow LEDs, as you're seeing right there, will not come on. If you plug it in, which is right there, here's the, the button. So the button is there, you press on it. When it's plugged into the wall outlet, that's where you see all that rainbow effect on my reviews. But it's weird. The gear on this turntable, this is how big it is. Sometimes, depending on the size of the figure, will not fit on this. And this has a weight limit too. So I can't put statues on this. Otherwise it won't work. So I have to get something a little bit bigger. There you go, Wolf. I just think for the money that was made for the Wolf Predator for $300, I just wish it was a little bit better than what it was. I don't like the fact that it was plastic loincloth, or it was just 90%. If I felt like 85% plastic, for $300, I should have gotten a genuine leather loincloth, LEDs in the bio helmet, and there wasn't. That's just my opinion. When is your birthday, Wolf, if I may ask? I was thinking about probably passing out birthday gifts to everybody. But that kind of got expensive for 400 people. Yeah, so that's very true. The more popular you are, the more dislikes you'll get. But here's the thing. The perfect example out of that is, so far, out of the views of my Wolf Predator Hot Toys figure, I have 238 views as it stands right now, with 0 dislikes, 15 likes, 31 comments out of 238 views. Watch time average is about 6-7 minutes out of a 28-minute video. So I wish that it was longer in average view duration, but it depends. Trish says, oh, was out in the woods doing a photo setup with my neck press and a bunch of joggers, turned around quickly and ran back down the path. And I saw a 34-year-old hanging out action figures in the trees. whatever. August 11th. Okay. I have to think of something. There was an artist at a con. I should have bought two, but I only bought one. I'll see if I can't find another one. I have an idea. Just, I'm always constantly getting ideas. That's another thing that's sad about me. And with me in general. I am always thinking of stuff. My mind will not shut off. My mind will not shut up. This is why usually I feel like I have insomnia. I can't fall asleep very easily. Unless I'm completely physically drained. Like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to bed. The photos came out great, though. That's all that matters. Trash. That's all that matters. So this is, as for your mistake, no mistake. If there's one thing you should not do is even try to entertain that dislike. I know when I say something or post something is damn good. I like your post, City Hunter Love. The post that you make, it just shows that you're passionate about it. And I'm not worried about dislikes. I'm not worried about unsubscribes, because if I focused on the negativity, this goes into YouTube in general, or any social media platform you're going to use. If you focus on the negativity, you won't progress, you won't grow. You will just allow that person to emotionally take control of your influence. Just don't do that. I mean, it was very disheartening that I lost 3 subscribers in one day, but you know, it is what it is. I move forward. I have more videos coming out. There will be more videos continue to come out. That's the way it is. Exactly, Trash. Incident of love, exactly. Do it for you and no one else. So the thing is, when you do something like this when it comes to YouTube, and Wolf, if you're listening, this is the perfect example. Have consistency, have a general focus, do your research. That's the #1 main thing. I highly recommend doing that, because if you don't, you'll have people correcting you, and no one's gonna take you seriously. But it's the video editing is second. Don't worry about it. As long as you watch the video, and I do this all the time before I even upload a video to YouTube, I'll watch the video. Is this pacing done correctly? Is everything smooth in transition? Does the reference photos, does everything correlate to based upon what I'm talking about? Because when I talk about something in a collectible, and I say, well, here's the reference that pertains to this piece, this is why it was made, because it was used in the movie. Or if you'll notice this in the movie that most people don't notice, this is why it's on the figure, this is why it's on this collectible or this statue, this is why it was sculpted this way. And a lot of people that say, well, I don't like it that way. I'm like, well, I'm sorry you don't like it that way, but that's how it is. So if, for the scout ship, and I use references to the size of a football field, so if you go from one side of the end line to the other end line, when I said that's the length of the scout ship, because that was what's on the information on the back of the package, it works out better in your favor for that. Wolfer says, I wonder if I'm passionate. I'm very passionate about Alien and Predator, but I wonder if I'm passionate enough. Don't sell yourself short. Don't do that. Just show off what you're... See, here's another thing too, Wolf. When it comes down to showing, you're really just sharing stuff. If you're sharing your passion, you don't want to be... like, my goal was not to be the expert. I don't believe I'm an expert on this. I just happen to have collected it long enough to know what I'm talking about and why I talk about it in the way that I do. But mainly I'm just sharing what I have in my collection and reviewing it, what my thoughts are, what my opinions are, what they did wrong, what they did right, and that's it. It is up to the viewer to decide, you know, is he right or is he wrong, or did you miss something? You know, it's a feedback, it's a communication between me and the viewer, or you guys watching this live stream. So like perfect example is I have the earnings call audio. That's 5 minutes and 10 seconds between Disney and Fox, where Bob Iger talks about his profits and his earnings. And sometimes those things are boring. If you're not a business person and you're not one into money or you don't care about money, at 45 minutes talking about revenue and income and profits and how much money I made, what I plan to do with this company, and when I buy these assets, is going to get, boring. But overall, what I'm saying is that I'm just sharing stuff that I'm very passionate about, and that's it. That's all I really am doing. Trinell says they thought Trash was up to no good. That's funny. Yeah, so we'll program it. Don't worry about whether or not you're passionate enough. It's just share it. That's it. Think of YouTube as any other social media platform like Instagram or Facebook. If you got that mentality, then you'll be fine. So Glenn says, would you ever do audio commentaries for the Predator movies? I have an idea, Trash, that's similar to that. And that is going to be me uploading a review on Predator 2 next year. But because of Disney now buying the assets of 20th Century Fox, I don't know how I'm going to do that, because I want to review the film itself, and there has to be a way of doing it. It's a little bit hard to explain. I don't know if I'll get copyrighted, and if I do, that's fine. I don't have a problem with copyrighted material in that regards, because the money will go towards, the right people. But I haven't figured that one out yet. I want to do a movie review of the 30th anniversary of Predator 2. That would be my idea for the month of November next year. Robert says I have a really bad habit of doing that to myself. I always look down on myself and wishing I could do better, especially when it comes to art. Again, it's a really bad habit for mine. That's understandable. If I don't touch on it. I can say, yeah, I could do better. Again, I'm going to reiterate again the Hot Toys review. I know I could have done better on it, but because I was rushed because of my consistency of making sure the video is always uploaded every single Wednesday. Instead, there was a mistake. I had to delete the garbage that was the video, in my opinion. I re-uploaded it. So instead of it being Wednesday, it was Thursday. Life happens. But as long as I overcome it, as long as it's to fit to what I can do, what I have resources to work with, the best I can do. I've had people even comment, and I mentioned it on my January of 2019 video, because it was a brand new year, brand new equipment, that a lot of people are asking about the aspect ratio of 4:3. Now my aspect ratio on my new videos are 16:9, because it's now it's 1280 by 720 as opposed to 640 by 480. Small little box, now it's a much more wider angle. It happens. So I had to work with what I got. That camera that was for my old videos, it was cheap. It was $40, and I used what I had. It helped me gain 200 to 300 subscribers, but it was still good content. It was still, content that I was able to utilize to the best of my advantage. So I think that with new software, new equipment, and be learning the editing skills that I did by using Windows Movie Maker, I got better at editing. So like I said, just use it as a social media platform to share what you got, talk about it, and people will either like it or dislike it. Don't worry about their opinions, worry about yours. Yes, I think I saw that one. That was the Predator 2 scout ship, or did you get the Predator 1? Because there's the Lost Tribe ship, and then there's the Predator 1 scout ship. Trash asks, have Predators the Hunters 2 been fully collected into a graphic novel yet? You mean a trade paperback? I think it has. Predators Hunters 2, the sequel to The Hunters, I think it's already in trade paperback now. What's out right now as a trade paperback is a collection of Volume 1 of both Aliens and Predator. And a collect, I think it is. No, it's Predator Volume 1, a collection of Predator comics. I didn't get that one. Mainly because I already have all the omnibuses. I have 1 through 3 sitting over there. So I don't need to get Volume 1 of another edition of Predator, because I already have all the comic books anyway. So I believe, Trash, that the Predators Hunters 2, the sequel to the original one, they sure already put it into a trade paperback. When I think of graphic novel, I think of it being a hardcovered or thicker book. A perfect example would be Alien vs. Predator, Deadliest of the Species. Chris Claremont, who wrote that story, he wrote it in a similar fashion to being a graphic novel, and when Dark Horse released Deadliest of the Species, they had it in both monthly issues 1 through 12, and then they had the hardcover special edition signed copy as a hardcover graphic novel. So, according to Chris Claremont, who I did not interview, but I asked questions about him writing the story, he said that he wrote it in a similar fashion to it being released as a graphic novel. The Dark Horse broke it up into 12 issues and a hardcover edition. So, Chris Claremont, I think, will be at another Comic-Con, and I'm going to